a student organizer and leader of the movement, Ibtihal Malay from the Palestinian Youth Movement.
Palestinian student leader Mahmoud Khalil was unconstitutionally kidnapped by the Department of Homeland Security for one reason. He took a stand and chose to fight against the genocide of the Palestinian people. For the past 16 months, Israel and the United States have waged a horrific genocide on the people of Gaza that has left over 100,000 martyred and countless more maimed. Gaza's 2 million residents have been starved and displaced several times over. Children have been left without parents. Parents have been left without children. And entire bloodlines have been erased. The overwhelming majority of Gaza's life-giving infrastructure, from hospitals to schools to sewage and water treatment plants, have been completely destroyed by Israel with United States weapons. Even after a ceasefire has been reached, Israel continues its genocide on the Palestinians of Gaza. Just these past weeks, and in a blatant violation of the ceasefire agreement, international law, and all principles of justice and humanity, Israel has cut Gaza off from all humanitarian aid, electricity, and shelter and equipment Palestinians will need to rebuild their cities and lives. These are the conditions that Mahmoud has spent the last 16 months speaking out against. As a student activist at Columbia University, Mahmoud is part of the historic movement for Palestine that has erupted in every city of the United States and world. This is a movement for life, for self-determination, for justice. This is a movement that says no to the slaughter of Gaza's women and children. It says no to the kidnapping and imprisonment of its men. It says no to the theft of its people's land. This is a movement for the rights of the Palestinian people and all people ravaged by exploitation, war, and imperialism, and to live freely and in peace. And this is a movement of the majority. This is a movement that is wildly supported here in the United States. Hundreds of thousands of Americans have joined pro-Palestine protests, and surveys show that support for Israel is the lowest it has been in the last 25 years. The reality and the movement for Palestine terrify the Trump administration, just as they terrified the Biden administration before it. How else can we explain the absurd attempts of this administration to equate protesting a genocide with terrorism? How else do we understand this government's position that it is more criminal or heinous to organize against the slaughter of Palestinian men, women, and children than it is to commit that slaughter? That's right! By unleashing ICE and the DHS on Mahmoud Khalil, Trump thinks he can strip us of our rights, attack our movement, and weaken our commitment to fight for our people. To that we say, you are wrong. We will not be silenced. We will not be silenced. We will continue to organize, and we will continue to struggle until the complete liberation of Palestine. Today, the Palestine movement joins our brothers and sisters in the immigrant rights movement and all progressive forces to demand the release of Mahmoud Khalil, to demand an end to the targeting and harassment of all students, and to demand that ICE get off of our campuses. Free Mahmoud Khalil and free Palestine!
Next, let's welcome Fahad from Drum. Daisy's rising up and moving.
Assalamu alaikum. we've been here before. 21 years ago, we were right here when another student from CUNY Maritime was being expelled from school and being put into deportation proceedings because he was a Nigerian Muslim, Suleiman Olatakun. We were also here 24 years ago, right outside of Federal Plaza, when hundreds of men stood outside in lines starting at 5 a.m. because they came from Muslim countries and the government forced them to register because they were from Muslim countries. We were here 24 years ago when Farouk Abdul Mahdi, one of the most prominent Palestinian activists, was targeted for being outspoken for the Palestinian struggle in the aftermath of 9/11. And he was targeted, he was detained into prisons in New Jersey and then put into deportation proceedings. There's a saying that history doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And we keep finding ourselves in these same patterns. The same forces come to power. They say they practice the same ways. The mix of xenophobia, of Islamophobia, of elite capitalism, of imperialists, of white supremacists, of Christian nationalists. These are the forces that we're up against. And it is important for us to be out here and confront them every step of the way. We were also here 8 years ago, almost exactly 8 years ago, when the first Muslim ban was announced and people were caught in the airports. And we were first in the airports, outside the airports, and then we came here. Very likely tomorrow, the next travel ban will be announced. Again, listing several Muslim countries alongside Cuba and Venezuela. Are we gonna stand by idly and let it happen? No. Fuck no. So it is very important for us to be out here on the streets, to be in solidarity with each other, to show that we stand against what's happening. But it's even more important what happens when we go back home. When we go back to our schools, we need a lot more people to be organized. We need a lot more people to be out here. We need to go back and organize in our schools, organize in our apartment buildings, organize in our neighborhoods, organize in our martial arts clubs, in our bowling leagues, in our knitting club. We need millions and millions of people to be active and engaged, because fascists don't listen to reason. Fascists don't listen to morality. Fascists don't care about protests. Fascists don't care about what the media will cover. Fascists have to be confronted by numbers that show that they will be defeated. And it is on every one of us to help build those numbers.
Administration intends to go through with this illegal kidnapping and deportation. They intend to go through with this. The reason Trump had to get personally involved and go to social media is because more than 1 million people in the last day have signed that statement demanding the release and freedom of Mahmoud Khalil. 1 million people.
That's a good one. I like that. I'll try our best.
single one of your congressional members and demand the release of Mahmoud and every other person in detention. Thank you.
When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? When immigrant rights are under attack, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Free Mahmoud Khalil now! We will not be intimidated. We will not be beaten back. We will not be made to feel afraid. We have gone too far. We have organized too much. We have built too much trust in each other, and we have built strong organizations. We will continue doing this. This is how we will get freedom from Mahmoud Khalil. This is how we will get ICE off of our campuses and out of our communities. This is how we will ensure justice for immigrants. And this is how we will ensure a free Palestine. All of this takes organization. All of this takes work. All of this takes consistency. I'm going to call now someone who knows a lot about these things, Manolo from the People's Forum.
Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil! Free Mahmoud Khalil! We have a message for Trump. You think you can threaten us? You think you can intimidate us? Well, we have a response for you. We are not stepping back. We are not staying quiet. We are not going home. We are here to fight for Palestine. We are here to fight for immigrants. We are here to fight for all our rights. They made a mistake in arresting Mahmoud because they thought it would happen in silence, that people wouldn't react. But all we have seen across the country has been millions of people coming together to defend Mahmoud. And today, thousands have come together here in New York. Are you ready to march? Are you ready to march? But we want to do more than just march, because this moment requires each and every one of us to fight and to organize. Only the millions of people together, not just in New York, but across the country, can defeat and win over the fascists. So we're gonna get ready to march.
Hands up our students now!
Hands up our students now!
ICE off our campus now!
ICE off our campus now!